My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as the parents and children they delight in. Blessed are those who find wisdom, who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than the silver and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies, nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand, in her left hand are riches and honour. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who embrace her. Those who lay hold of her will be blessed. By the wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundations, by understanding he set the heavens in place. By his knowledge the deeps were divided, and the clouds let drop the dew.
That? Excellent. I'll test you later. Hello. Excellent. You're all here. My name is Guy. As always, it's great to have the opportunity to talk with you this morning, and a very warm welcome to all of you watching the live stream. You are so much a part of this, so it's brilliant. You just don't get the biscuits at the end of the service, but hey. Excellent. So, thank you to Evie for that reading. Shall we give Evie a clap? Let's give her a clap. Right. So, I know you'll have got all that. You could quote it all back to me. Wisdom. Wisdom. I just want to draw your attention to a couple of things that Evie read about wisdom, because it seems to be a big deal. Wisdom, blessed are those who find, you've got to find it, find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. Whoa, that's a big deal, isn't it? I mean, who wouldn't want a better return than gold? And by wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundations, by understanding he set the heavens in place. So, wisdom, it appears, is a big deal. It's really valuable, and it's right in the heart of God. Just to say, if you've got the word bingo, if you get every word, let's see if I can remember what I wrote down, because I can't quite remember, but you'll find out. Give us a cheer if you get it. If you get it, you get one extra biscuit afterwards. Never let it not be said we're generous here. Margaret's now going, how many biscuits have we got? Okay. So, wisdom. You, I'm sure, all have your own definitions of wisdom. Just to help you along before we get into how do you find wisdom, what is wisdom? What I find helpful to think about, it is the use of knowledge, the use of what you know and how to act on it. So it's the use of what you know and acting on it. It's not just knowing stuff. Use of it, acting on it. But here's the thing. The writer of Proverbs said you've got to find it. So how do you find wisdom? Did anybody find any wisdom last week? If you did, let me know afterwards. How do you find wisdom? That's the question. So now, between Elaine, who's doing the charts today, between Elaine and I, I'm going to try and guide you through just a little few thoughts on how you find wisdom. Elaine, could we have the first build? Let's just be patient with Elaine, because have we got the first build? The finest technical minds are working on it as we speak. Ha! We've got it. What's this? A forest. A forest. Could we have the next build? How do you grow a forest? Bang on. Top performance. Multitasking, drawing, and good at it, and getting the questions right. And thank you. Yes. Next build, which will just confirm that. You grow a forest by one tiny little seed at a time. And then from this seemingly little and insignificant thing grows something of substance and beauty. Can we have the next build, please? So, after the blank screen comes, you will find yourself somewhere on this chart. Have a good look. Be honest with yourselves. Some of you may be a little bit to the left-hand side of the chart as you look at it. Some of us, like me, maybe a little bit further down to that end of the chart as you look at it. But we're all on this chart somewhere. But here's the question as we think about how you grow a forest. Could we have the next build, please? How do you grow a life of wisdom and character? How do you grow a life of wisdom and character? Well, I think if we follow the example of Jesus, the way we grow a life of wisdom is through each tiny, unglamorous, next build please, decision at a time. Each tiny, unglamorous decision at a time. Because we sow our seeds through each tiny little unglamorous decision we make every day. Because actually that decision that you make about what you say to whoever you come across every day, that's a decision, and it is your decision. Whether you're on the school bus, whether you're in the classroom, whether you're at college, whether you're at work, whether you're at home, whether the person you come across is happy or sad, frustrated, angry, or full of kindness, you choose, you decide what to say, and it's your decision. You decide on a daily basis where to go. You decide, it's your decision. You decide who you will go places with. It's your decision. But here's the thing. The interesting thing is, the seeds that you sow through your decisions, what fruit will they produce? What kind of fruit will the decisions you make produce? That's the journey of each little unglamorous decision. And the thing is, you see, God took an incredible risk. He certainly did with me. I think he did with you too. God took an incredibly big risk when it comes to decision making, because he gave you and me freedom to make our decisions. He gave us freedom, which is why, actually, if you were listening carefully, Michaela's prayer a few minutes ago and Scarlett's too were so important. When Michaela was praying, help me, teach me how to pray. Because as we make those decisions, we have to learn to let the example of Jesus come into our decision making, so those habits and practices that are so important to pray, to give God our decisions, to confess, old word, to tell Jesus when we mess up, so he can help us learn and make different decisions. Allowing the Holy Spirit into those decisions is so very important. But he took a risk. And sometimes, well, if we have freedom without constraints, well, I wonder what it looks like. Does anybody like dogs here? Oh, yes. Does anybody have a dog? Well, I love dogs. We don't have one. You now get 1 minute of education about freedom with no constraints. Can you do it, Elaine? there is a moving image to come. If you've seen the clips on YouTube, you know what's coming. Just be patient. Well, you've got the punchline already. It was working at 9:45 before we started the service. Is it coming? Always reboot, go back, start again. Don't panic, guys. Take your time. They're all on the edge of their seats. Sorry for those guys watching online. It'll be worth seeing when we get there. You get the idea. Thank you, Elaine. I'm sure this does not remind you of your own dog, Andy. It's just nothing like feeding time in your household, I'm sure. But there's the thing, isn't it? See food, chase food, eat food. That's it. But of course, there's another version of that for you and I. See what I want, chase what I want, get what I want. See what I want, chase what I want, get what I want. It's the result, as that caption at the bottom says, we will be driven by what we cannot say no to. That again comes back to Michaela's prayer of when we learn to pray and we learn to align the decisions we make with what Jesus has got for us. Because one thing many people, I think, do not realize is every time they are faced with one of those little unglamorous daily decisions is they are at a fork in the road, but many don't realize it. And the fork in the road is this, that every decision that you and I make, it will either expand or it will shrink our ability to love as Jesus loved and to live a life led by the Holy Spirit. Each decision we make will either expand or shrink our ability to love as Jesus loved and to live a life led by the Holy Spirit through prayer and openness to Him. And Jesus talked a lot about this, about sowing and about reaping, what you get when you sow, what sort of fruit will be produced. Could we have, it'll be the last one, the next build. What sort of animal is this? A wolf. A wolf. As I said, Jesus talked a lot about sowing and reaping. He didn't talk a lot about wolves. But I'm just going to tell you a story to finish with. I'm going to tell you a story about sowing and reaping. And this is a story that comes from the Native American tradition from the tribe of the Cherokee. You may have heard it. And the story is told of the Cherokee chief who was sitting talking with his grandson. I now have a grandson. His name is Caleb. He's only about 8 or 9 weeks old, but when he's old enough, I will tell him this story. The Cherokee grandfather said to his grandson, I have 2 wolves that live inside me. One is a good wolf, and one is a bad wolf. The one wolf is full of bitterness and anger and frustration and impatience and greed. The other wolf is full of love and joy and kindness and goodness. And the grandfather said, the 2 wolves inside of me, every day they fight. And the fighting is often long, and the fight is furious. And the Cherokee chief's little grandson, his eyes lit up, and his eyes looked up. And the grandson said, but Granddad, which wolf wins? Yes! At least 2 extra biscuits. Maybe 10. Well done. But which wolf wins? And the Cherokee chief, he came close to his grandson, he drew him in, and he whispered in his ear, which wolf wins? It's the wolf that I feed. It's the wolf that I feed. Because you and I, we sow our seeds, we make our decisions, and then our decisions make us. What do I mean by that? Our decisions make us, because those who love tend to be loved. Those who are generous with what they have, their time, their energy, their money, who they are, they tend to receive much. Those who forgive tend to be forgiven. Those that understand that and act on it, that is wisdom. Thank you very much for listening.